Welcome to Canada and Numbers Part 4. In Part 4, we'll be looking at the top 5 countries where immigrants come from over the last 5 years. Okay, now let's take a look at Canada's immigration by country between 2019 and 2023. So we're going to be looking at the countries, the top 5 countries where immigrants were from that entered into Canada between 2019 and 2023. Let's get straight into it. Now, the total number of immigrants in 2023 was 471,550, which is the highest number of immigrants in Canada in any given year ever. Highest. Let's take a look at this 471,550 broken down by province. So Newfoundland and Labrador got 5,480 or 1.16% of the total number of immigrants. Prince Edward Island accounted for 3,620 or 0.77% of the total number of immigrants. Nova Scotia, where I am located right now, 11,810 or 2.5% of the total number of immigrants. New Brunswick, 11,445 or 2.43% of the total number of immigrants. Quebec, 52,790 or 11.19% of the total number of immigrants. Ontario, no surprise there, 206,725 or 43.84% of the total number of immigrants. 43.84%. Manitoba, 24,890 or 5.28% of the total number of immigrants. And this is for 2023, obviously. Saskatchewan, there we go. Got the pronunciation. 25,160 or 5.34% of the total number of immigrants. Alberta, 57,545 or 12.2% of the total number of immigrants. And British Columbia, 70,785 or 15.01% of the total number of immigrants. Now, let me highlight this discrepancy. There's a discrepancy between the total number of immigrants here and when we break it down by province. But we must also remember that Canada has 3 provinces, which also takes in immigrants. So that would account for the difference between the total number of immigrants here and when we break it down by province. Okay. So let's look at the top 5 countries where these 471,550 immigrants were from. This will be no surprise to anyone. India. Indians are number 1. So of this 471,550, 139,770 were from India. They were Indians, which represents 30% of the total number of immigrants in 2023. Chinese were second, 31,780 or 7%. Philippines were 26,955 or 6% of the total number of immigrants. Afghanistan, 20,180 or 4% of the total number of immigrants. And Nigeria, 17,455 or 4% of the total number of immigrants. Now, we see that India had 100 and about 8,000 more immigrants than the second highest, the country with the second highest number of immigrants. So India at 4 times the number of immigrants as number 2, which is the Chinese. So, there's a big controversy there with the number of Indians that come into Canada. The data shows that, Indians are, in fact, make up the largest percentage of immigrants into Canada for 2023 and by a significant number as well. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's what the data supports. 30% of the total number of immigrants. So the top five country, India, China, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. I guess I should really, it says country, but so I should really have India, China. All right, I can have country slash citizens. Here we go. Here we go. So India, okay, have India are Indians, China are Chinese. So there we go, fixed. Let's continue. Let's scroll down. So we see that for 2023, the top five countries represent 50% of the total number of immigrants, which is 236,145. Scroll down to 2022. For 2022, I didn't do the breakdown of the province that they went to. Right? I just did the breakdown of the top five countries that they are from. So I just did the province for 2023 because the trend would continue. Ontario usually has the most, and so on and so forth. So let's go to 2022. Number of immigrants in 2022 was 437,539. Who were they? Indians, again, number one. 118,224 are 27% of the total number of immigrants. China, 31,841 are 7% of the total number of immigrants. Afghanistan, 23,748 are 5% of the total number of immigrants. Nigeria, so we see we have repeat names. Nigeria, 22,118 are 5% of the total number of immigrants. The Philippines, Filipino, 22,095 are 5% of the total number of immigrants. And if we really want to uh, show the exact figure, the two decimal places, we see 5.05%. So let's go to 2021. So we see, let's go back to 2022. We see that in 2022, the top five countries accounted for 218,026 of the 437, or about 50%. If you want to get more accurate, 49.83%. So it's 2021. Okay, let's get accurate and put in a couple decimal places. Okay. For 2021, same trend. India, number one, 127,933 or 31.51%. China, or Chinese, the Chinese people, 31,001 or 7.64%. Philippines, the Philippines are Filipino, 18,021, 4.4% of the total number of immigrants, which is 405,999. Wow, that's a unique number. 999. Number four, Nigeria, 15,593 are 3.84% of the total population. France, newcomer. Haven't seen France in the list so far. 12,688 are 3.13% of the total population. Should have done a breakdown. I will do a breakdown of this to see. Well, I wonder if all of these French people went to Quebec. That would be an interesting that would be an interesting data or interesting research to see how much of this 12,688 actually went to Quebec. Anyway, moving on. For 2021, total number of immigrants was 405,999. The top five countries made up 205,236. Of that are 51%. And if we want to, get more accurate, 50.55%. Scroll down. So we see a trend here. Top three countries keep repeating themselves. The fourth one sometimes change. You know, we have France in 2021, probably Afghanistan here in 2020, but the top four has been India, China, Nigeria, and the Philippines. Not necessarily in that order. Well, India and China, one, two. Let's go to 2020. 2020, number of immigrants. This was COVID, so the number of immigrants in 2020 was not as significant as it was in 2019 or 2021, 2022, or 2023. So we had COVID here, so you know there was a pause on a lot of things, including immigration. 2020, we had 184,606 people. It was broken down as follows. Again, no surprise there. Indians are India, number one, 42,876 people are 23% of the total number of immigrants. Chinese, number two, 16,535 are 9% of the total population, of the total number of immigrants. The Philippines, 10,969 are 6% of the total number of the population. Again, we could go more accurate in terms of the number of decimal places to get a more accurate number. So the US, 6,384, which is surprising. I would love to know, you know, why people move from the US to Canada. I would love to know why, but anyway, that's a story for another day. The US, 6,384 people are 3.46% of the total number of immigrants. Nigeria, these names keep coming up. Nigeria, 6,357 are 3.44% of the population. So we see that for 2022, of the 184,606 total number of immigrants into Canada, 83,121 were from the top five countries, or 45.03%. So the other 55% would be from other countries. So we go now to, this is 2019. This is 2019. 2019. Total number of immigrants, 341,180. Delete that. 341,180. Indians, 85,593 are 25% of the total number of immigrants. Chinese, 30,246 are 9% of the total number of immigrants. Philippines, 27,818 are 8% of the total number of immigrants. Nigeria, 12,602 are 4% of the total number of total number of immigrants. Pakistan, 10,793 are 3% of the total number of immigrants. So we see that of the total number of immigrants in 2019 was 341,180. The top five countries made up 167,052 of those number of people, which is about 49% of the total number of immigrants came from the top five countries. So let's go down to the summary. So for the summary, so for the five years between 2009 and 2023, Canada welcomed 1,840,874 people. That's almost Jamaica's entire population, which is where I'm from. Well, not almost, but close. Jamaica is about 2.8 million. Total number of immigrants in the Canada over 5 years was 1.8 million. So maybe in another 5 years of immigration, the number of immigrants will surpass the population of where I am from. That's just a backstory. I mean, that wasn't necessary, but thought I'd just throw it out there. So, uh, lost my train of thoughts. I mean, I think that makes the video a little bit more uh, intimate, because anyway. So total number of immigrants between 2019 and 2023 into Canada was 1,840,874. And it was broken down by top three countries. I'm going to do top three now as follows. India, 396,177 people, or 22% of the total number of immigrants over the last 5 years has been from India. Uh, I know that has been a sore topic, and I will cover immigration because immigration in Canada has been, it's been a controversial topic, and I will do a better analysis in part five where I will look at things such as unemployment, GDP per capita. I will do a deeper dive into how immigration has affected the economy as per the numbers. But for now, I'm just giving the numbers, right? In part five, I'll go down into my analysis, and that's the one that you don't want to miss. So, for the 5 years, 2019 to 2023, 1,840,874 people, 396,177 were Indians, are 22%. Chinese accounted for 109,506, or 6%, and the Filipino was 83,763, or 5%. We see that India has tripled, more than tripled the second highest country where immigrants are from, which is China. India accounts for 26%, 22%, I'm sorry. China accounts for 6%, the Philippines 5%. So of the 1.8 million people that came to Canada between 2019 and 2023, 589,506 came from the top three countries, which is India, China, and the Philippines. And the top three countries accounted for 32%, which is almost one third, with India leading the way with 22% of the total number of immigrants. Join me in part five, I'm sorry, where I will do an analysis of what immigration has done to Canada in terms of not what it has done, but what the number says in terms of unemployment, GDP per capita, etc. Join me in part five. Bye. If you like this video, and especially if you found it useful, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and get more.